We will start with the kiss, right?
Yes, we'll start with the
Yes,
kiss.
we will start with the kiss.
So this is our 4th episode of our kind of podcast.
What kind of podcast? It's a podcast,
Okay.
which we call as Unedited.
Mm.
And here we're discussing the current state of our relationships, but at the same time we are drawing parallels. See what happens? See what happens?
What happens?
I don't know. I'm sabotaging again.
Yes, I see.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is that we're not just talking about us, but we are talking about relationships in general. So the purpose of this podcast is not show you our life, as some people may doubt why we're doing this, why talking about your problems, your challenges out loud, showing it to the public or something.
I think we explained this while we are doing this, and
explained it,
each of
but-
us can have a different motivation, no? I'm sharing how I feel in our relation, and people can learn from this relating. So it is about us. If how people interpret it, it's not in our power, no?
Yeah, but
Let's not be afraid of critics. If we have critics, it's
I'm
good.
not afraid of critics, and actually I welcome any feedback, and even if there is a critical feedback,
good,
it
no?
means we touched something, and
There is emotional response.
yes, what we're doing is not just in some
Artificial talk.
yes, it's not an artificial talk. It means it brings some value, but why I feel so sad now? I don't know.
Maybe because this subject we want to bring today, we want to talk about this dynamic in the couple when one person is feeling responsible for the feelings and emotions of the other person, no? And it also can work both directions, that both partners have this.
Interesting, because I think what I tried to already say in the few minutes, in the first few minutes, it was exactly this sensation that I'm responsible for the feelings of other people who watched this podcast, who watched it and who didn't find value, who doubted, who probably felt some complex emotions or some questions, and I was already feeling what they feel and trying to explain to them, to this imaginary person who doubts the value of what's happening here. Interesting.
So this is this one extreme, no? And in the couple, I think it happens even more intense because we are the closest people to each other. So this is this one extreme, and another extreme is isolating or avoiding the contact in order not to feel this responsibility. So we want to talk about this healthy balance.
But let's bring an example. What do we mean by being responsible for the emotions of the other person? Because to some extent it's normal, it's okay, because when people exist together, and even in the world, all Gestalt therapy is based on the principle of the contact of a human being and the nature around and the people around, this ambience. How is it? What?
No, I think.
So we affect people or whatever we get into contact with. And the person we're in contact, and the space, the weather, nature, it has an impact on us.
Yes.
So on one hand, to some extent it's okay, it's a natural state of things, and it would be strange if it's
to deny this.
Yeah, it's somehow not healthy, not normal. We are constantly in contact with each other, but there should be some boundary. So this is the most important point. There should
because
be some...
on the other hand, if I do something, I don't know what emotions it can trigger in you, because it's your thing how you receive those things. No, I do something, and if there are two different persons, they can have different emotions with this, and I don't have influence on this, no? But once I am aware that, for example, let's take from our example, no?
Yeah.
Like recently, I made a joke about how much time you spend
I was thinking
working
about the same.
on social media,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very hurtful for you, no?
So let's bring this.
Yeah. So I made a joke that you are addicted of the phone.
Yes.
Marina is addicted of the phone. That was my phrase, no?
Yes, which is not true in my reality because first, I'm not addicted. Second, all my work is focused around this device. It's like this, and
And it was hurtful,
and
no?
third, I inside of myself, I understand what effort I make to like manage my time, to mind how much time I spend on the phone doing my work and how much I spend in real life. And for me, it was really painful to hear that you say, "Oh, you are addicted to your phone," or "Oh, you're so obsessed with making videos," which for me is important. It's not only part of my work; it's also part of my personality, part of my way of showing my creative part, of expressing myself, you know. So this comment, which you put as a joke, to me it was a half joke. To me it was like a message, very hurtful, and it hit me very strong, and I changed my mood straight away. Although I was so happy and full of enthusiasm, after these few words, my mood changed. And I got sad, I got angry, I got actually, you know, like even desperate that, oh, again, discussing this topic and there is no understanding here. And it triggered other sensations inside of me. It actually triggered my trauma. It actually triggered my trauma where I feel unseen, unappreciated, yes, or taken in a wrong way, not like what I really want to show or what I really am. I really am.
So your reaction was strong in this situation, no? And and my first sensation was that
I'm exaggerating.
no,
Again, she's reacting over emotionally again, probably like this.
Yes, that was first interpretation, but I immediately started to defend myself, no, saying it was only a joke and like not. And this is this thing we want to talk about it, no? This intention to avoid taking, let's call it accountability, no? For my actions, that I did something and it triggered something in you and it hurted you.
And although your intention was...
Let's park this intention because I now have more insights what was my intention, no?
Okay.
It was a joke, but this joke was cruel a little bit, no? Knowing how important is for you this work which you are doing and how much energy it requires. It was a kind of cruel, no? So my intention, let's maybe park for now. But this moment of taking accountability, which still costs me a lot to admit, yes, I hurted you.
So
I start to defend, and then it triggers you more, no? Because you feel, oh, it's not fair.
it's not fair, yeah. It triggered me because for me it was, sorry to say, a little immature, because like you did something, obviously you did, you like said a phrase, and although your intention could be, as you said in the beginning, just a joke or whatever, not to hurt my feelings, let it be, let's not go deep in your intention now, but still you did it, and it provoked some reaction. And this is where you already become kind of responsible, or you like this word, accountable for the situation as well. So there is your part in this situation, but I assume that you started to defend, correct me if I'm wrong, just because you felt all the responsibility for the situation. Just you did something, probably it's a shame, probably you feel guilty, and you see how I react, you see that I changed, my mood changed, I'm hurt, so you feel already that you need to somehow do something to bring my good mood back. So
There is a
that's
lot
too
of,
much,
yeah.
that's too much, and that's why you want probably to stay away from this and to defend that. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. So then I by defending myself, I go into this avoiding mode. No, I'm not responsible for what is happening with you. No, and it's not true. No, I am responsible or accountable for what had happened. So why I have this tendency of doing this? Because I feel over responsible for your happiness. No. So as we discussed that the whole day I have a kind of scanning about your mood. I feel responsible if you are happy, if you are not happy. You moved here from Bali, you are adapting, you don't feel yet good in this place. So I feel over responsible, also not ask for this, no? And this is causing that my resources are all the time exhausted, because if I'm all the time in this attention mode to you, and then something happens on the top which would require space to say, yes, I'm sorry for hurting you, I don't have this space, no? Because I already exhausted this space with all this being attentive, not asked, no? Or when it's not needed. And
Honestly, I feel a little now disconnected. You explained your emotional state, but for me it's like, okay, how is it connected with the situation that we just discussed?
that I'm over. I don't want to feel guilty, no? And this is this paradox. I feel responsible for your feeling, but I don't want to hear that you feel bad, because I immediately feel guilty.
And this what happens in many couples is not only in our couple who are especially who are fresh couples and who are still building this intimacy, these strong bonds, you know, who are still in this insecure position. Are they okay as a couple? They have strong boundaries as a couple or not? So there is this hyper focus on each other personality, you know, like in this sensation of being guilty is super toxic. Being guilty or being ashamed, these are two most complicated feelings from which everybody would like to run away and never feel them in their life. But they're more frequent feelings when there is this tendency, you know, to take this responsibility for the other one, for the partner. And why it happens? It happens because of our family scenario, family situation, and our situations are different, but we are kind of having the same pattern in our own way. So we can talk about these family patterns because it's important to understand where it comes from, why it happens, why it was okay, probably okay there, back then in the childhood, and why it's not okay now when you are already in the couple, where you try to build partner relationships, and it's already a stumbling block, a problem, a huge obstacle, if honestly. Because if you're coming back to this very little situation where you made this comment, yes, where like I felt hurt, I want to like emphasize one thing. That it's like it looks like a everyday situation, and in your relationships we can also see some things. Your partner can make a joke. It looks like a stupid joke, but it
Like a small thing, but it's not
yeah,
small
but it
thing.
yeah,
no?
but it really hits strongly. It's super painful, and on the one hand, you can have a look like nothing happened, okay, it's just a joke, but you feel that no, something already happening inside of you, and you have this sensation that some injustice happening. I feel it like injustice, something unfair happened, to me. So on the one hand, there is this tendency to avoid talking about it because it feels like a conflict in the air. But if there are so many small things like this, and when they accumulate it, then it's going to be an explosion. So it's even worse scenario. So I personally believe that it's much better to kind of talk about what you feel, and I do it always. I do it straight away. Sorry, I know that
She's doing this already.
you're tired of it.
But it's good, and I'm sometimes I hate it. Sometimes I hate it because it's very exhausting. But now, after living together more than
half a year,
I see the purpose, because how you say, those small things which we have tendency to minimize their significance, they really destroy the love, no? Because they create this, I am not secure. I'm not secure in the couple.
Yes.
Those small little things, those jokes, those comments, but it can be also silence, not responding to something. No, it can be different forms of a man avoiding this accountability, responsibility, how my partner feels, no? Because I feel responsible for everything, no? And then I have this tendency to go into total avoiding when something really happens.
Can I correct you here?
You can
avoiding
try.
Responsibility and accountability. You said how my partner feels, but I would say responsibility or accountability for what you've done, and this is
how I contributed.
How you contributed, not for how I feel, not how I react. Yes, you kind of triggered this emotion, but you can be responsible how I choose to react. I can say, okay, it doesn't matter. Or I can really feel like super hurt, or I can be emotional, I can be angry.
So this part is yours.
This is part, yes, this part, but you did something which triggered my emotions, which I choose. I choose these emotions. So this is the division line, which I kind of insist on respecting. Because when you see all these my emotions, you kind of really want to protect yourself from them, because
they can be overwhelming.
Yeah, they're overwhelming, and as you said, you feel straight away guilty that, oh, she was in a good mood, in high energy, and suddenly, just because I said this innocent phrase or stupid joke, she's in the extreme, she's in the low energy, she's angry. And yes, and it's also like a protective mechanism to avoid this conflict, because you can feel that, oh, now probably we can fight. I know Marina, she will be like now sucking my blood and explaining her position, protecting her position a lot. So you can naturally would love to, get distant from this. But the way you get distant, this is what
it's
irritates
me.
This is what irritates me. This is what makes me feel, again, we are on different pages. We cannot be, we are not aligned. What I need from you here is not to feel that you are a bad person because she's in such a mood, or she's angry or hurt. I want you here to admit that, yes, maybe my joke was stupid. Yeah, I said it, and now I see that it hurt you. I'm sorry that my words.
So this is what you would expect, right? What you expect from
me.
That
you kind of admit, not kind of, but admit what you did or what you did not.
And that it hurt you. You communicate, it hurted me. Admit that you see this.
Yes, but somehow probably you can hear in my words that admit that you are now responsible for how I feel.
Yes, this is the mix, and I think you explain it very good. I'm still kind of trying to figure out, and I think this pattern is very common for men. I talk to my friends, we observe other couples, and we see this pattern of men behaving like this, no? Then they talk that their partners are over emotional, overreacting, oversensitive, and all of this, because they don't want to feel responsible, no? And then if we go deeper, and here it's not a space to like analyze this very deeply, but the pattern is from this little boy who felt over responsible for the emotions of the mother, no? Because for some reason there was no partner of the mother, a father or another partner of the mother who could take care about this, no? And then those male children, they naturally feel responsible, and of course it's too much for them.
Yeah, it's like you are a little boy, but you already given this role of being a grown-up person. You are already the one who substitutes the partner in the family, and the partner can exist. Father can be there, but fathers, same as mothers, can be distant, not active, passive, avoiding, addicted, and that's why they're absent, you know. There are different reasons why real partners, fathers, are not engaged, are not in a good, like equal partnership union with mothers. So this is their situation, man and woman relationship. But somehow, when they are unbalanced, mothers tend to unconsciously or maybe consciously, they tend to use kids, sons, they kind of get the sensation from the son of this unconditional love, because sons, they are blind with love. Whatever mother can be, they
will not put the limits.
Yeah,
no?
they're
When
very
they are
loyal.
Little, yeah, they are
To
very
their
loyal
moms.
to the moms, and they are, because they are very hardly dependent on moms.
Of course,
no?
they have strong bonds, they have strong attachment, and sometimes this is unhealthy attachment. And depending on this level of healthiness, these little boys start very much being engaged in the well-being of mothers, in creating space, in creating conditions for the mother feel good. You may say here, what's wrong with that? It's okay that kids take care of their parents. Again, this boundary, I want to say this fucking boundary.
That they are not responsive.
Yes.
That when there is a father in this dynamic, no, when there is a little boy, there is a mother, and there is a father who comes, and this father acts in a way that don't take this responsibility. This woman is mine.
I'll take care of her.
I
It's
will
okay,
take care of her.
Go
no?
play, go read a book.
Then this boy will have this experience. I don't have to be responsible for something which is too much for me. No? And we also discussed this, that it doesn't mean that the fathers are bad right now, no? But also the civilization which created, this way of working, that fathers work a lot of time, they are not present in home. All of this contributed to this dynamic, that the boys are left with the mothers.
Yeah, but...
And this happens, no?
But I would insist on the different reason. I would insist on the following. When grown-up parents cannot figure out their relationships, when they are, because of many reasons, are not connected, they don't respect each other, they're not satisfied with each other somehow, when there is this unspoken, I don't know, maybe anger, this blocked
abandonment, different
feelings.
No?
Yeah, the couple, man and the woman, being already a parent, couple, they cannot be unhappy with each other. And when they don't put attention to that, when they don't make effort to understand each other, get closer, to repair their union, I just leave at it, they start using kids for these reasons. The bill. Yes, the kids pay the bill, unfortunately. And sometimes the kid can be a trophy, it can be a prize, who is right, who is wrong. If mother is right, so they can be like even manipulated. Using kids as some proof that my position is right, that I'm right, or and kids, they are still too little to understand what's happening. They are not. They shouldn't be involved in this man and woman interaction. They are kids. They have different tasks. They have different stages of their development yet. And it would be nice for them to stay kids longer and to feel this care and protection, this boundary where, okay, you're a kid, it's fine, don't worry. Even if we fight with my father, your father, it's okay, it's our grown-ups thing, don't worry. But in most cases,
it never
mothers say, oh, your father is so bad, or I feel so bad. I'm simplifying things. Even if mothers don't say anything, but how they look, how they feel, it all passes to a kid. And if mother doesn't put this boundary, then the kid, especially a son, feels that, oh, he needs to do something. He needs to be better than a father. He needs to help mother to feel better after a fight. He needs to make money because mother works so much and father is not working at all, so I need to start working early. And small boys become grown up too fast.
And he carries this wound, no? And he gets used to carry something which is much beyond his capability.
Yes.
And this creates later this sensation of being over responsible all the time, no? And on the other hand, this rage, I don't want to be blamed or responsible, and this creates this very conflicting dynamic that then it might be very unpredictable for the woman in the couple, no?
Yes. So imagine. Now we are focusing on the boys, on little boys. Then later we will go to girls. Imagine a little boy who becomes a grown-up person very early, who is put in the position of a head of the family suddenly, very early, who is responsible for mother's well-being, for mother's mood, for mother's emotional, physical state. So he has huge scope of responsibility, being good at his kids' stuff at school, university, or whatever, at home, being, a therapist for mother, being probably a breadwinner, making money. So a lot of responsibilities. It's super burden. It's a heavy burden. And this is how he learns what attachment is, what healthy relationship is, what love is, what care is. And then
it's not healthy, no? But he learns what does it mean
to be
with the woman.
Yeah,
no?
to be with the woman.
And then he can develop to different modalities when the boy is grown up man. No, he can go into open relations in order to avoid this responsibility. Or he can go, I don't want anyone because it's too big burden for
to
me.
be a bachelor.
Or in the relation, he will be this nice guy, always trying to please the woman, and then it will influence sexual energy, attractiveness. So there are like different modalities where this can lead, and maybe it's not the purpose of this video to explore of them. We just wanted to
but this is where we come, because I think it's also about us to some extent.
It's a lot about us.
Yes, because this is where the conflict happens, where you and me, we want to get close and we want to build this healthy attachment, strong bonds, and like you already do many things. You already been in this habit of scanning, predicting, guessing.
Not asked, no? When it's not needed very often, no?
You're already in this mode and, like operating and feeling that you're working in relationships.
That I'm giving a lot, I'm giving a lot.
And then suddenly, either if I ask something, you feel like, she's so demanding, wow. Or if you give this little comment without thinking much, maybe it's passive-aggressive.
It was passive-aggressive.
It was passive-aggressive, yes.
Passive-aggressive.
But even though it's like a small situation, but this is where I kind of catch you, stop you, and want to like you admit this this responsibility, and this is where you feel already, wow, it's too much.
Yes.
I've been doing my
Whole
best
day
all day,
responsible
yes, trying to be
for
like,
everything, how you feel, if
yes,
you woke up in the good mood, if you are smiling, no? Or maybe
yes,
you are stressed or something, no? So for me,
yes,
it's too much.
yes.
No? It's too much.
And this tiny moment is crucial because for me, it's where I see, oh, you're a mature person. You admit what you said. You understand what it means for me. Like, you understand what impact it has on me. It doesn't mean that you're responsible for my emotions, and it's okay. I would be super happy if it happens, but right at this moment where I catch you and I want you to admit this, you feel like, that's too much. I don't want this. No.
There is another reason, not only too much. We talk about it many times. This desire to be this perfect partner, no? So if I need to be accepted, I need to be perfect. So if I do something not nice, I'm not this perfect partner. So I'm trying also to.
Yes.
First impulse is no, it's not me, because it destroys this my inner vision of me. No?
Yeah, it's a complex. Of course, it's a complex moment, but like we
work on
yes,
this.
we call this video like responsibility for the relationships of the partner. It's like again, probably a big name, and it's hard to understand what's the problem, what's wrong with that. But again, it's super important thing to have this boundary. Otherwise, the dynamic in the partner couple becomes parent and kid again. So if you feel that you're responsible for my emotions, you become bigger and I become smaller. I'm a kid and you're a parent. Or vice versa.
Or you feel that you have to react differently because I don't have space for this, right? And then
yes,
you become this mother who understands everything.
Yes.
No?
For example, I could ignore this joke and pretend as if nothing happened and it was not hurtful. And here I would be like already, okay, too understanding, like feeling, yes, no need to upset this. Yes, this cute boy.
It was a lot about me in this podcast. I already feel like I need fresh air.
But now my part, because there is my part. Yes, because with girls, it happened the same. We are mirroring each other because I'm also having this tendency to be responsible. I also scan your emotions. I also scan how you breathe, how you look, your gestures, like everything. Just because my family history is also not the best one, because my father was addicted to alcohol and I've been brought up in the family where I needed to adjust to any slight change of my father's mood and to adjust to protect myself. That was when he was too drunk. There were different stages of being drunk. But when he was too drunk, he was too aggressive. And I was very little to protect myself. And sometimes there were not a mother or a sister around to take care of me. Or they were my mother, but my mother were in this fight with my dad. And I was even more scared, not just about myself, but about my mom. So in this situation, me being a very small girl, I was already put in this situation where I was responsible for the life even of my parents. I was responsible to make sure that they will stay alive after their fight. I was responsible for my mom's emotional state. I was responsible for taking care of my drunken dad, to make him asleep. And kids from the families of addicted parents, they understand what I mean. And this is a super big topic, and maybe for further podcasts, further episodes. But this is my story, where I was taught to be a grown-up person much earlier. When I was 5, 6, 7, I should have a childhood, you know. I even want to cry now. But at this time, I was already responsible for my grown-up parents. I was responsible for making money, for studying well, for my future. So I remember that I studied at school with no bad mark at all, not a single bad mark. Just because I understood that nobody would take care of me, nobody would pay for my education and stuff. So I already had this heavy burden of being responsible for this life.
And being perfect also.
It's not about even being perfect, but about being attentive, capable of things, handy, because this was a survival mode for me.
Also
that
some
was
kind
a survival mode.
Hyper independence. Oh no, how do you feel?
Well, I was taught to be independent. I was taught to survive in this life and to use different skills. That's why whatever I try in life, I like do it well. You know, I usually go and get education, get certification. It's not just a surface interest. So I'm like getting as many tools as possible to use in my life and to survive. Again, this is a different family scenario, but the consequences is the same. That I am scanning people around, especially with whom I'm in relationships, being trained that I need to understand everything what happens to you, because it's about my safety. I need to understand why you changed your mood. What are you thinking about? Can you imagine?
And for me, it triggers this fear of being controlled, of this mother who is who wants to all the best for me so much that I cannot breathe.
But here you deal with a little girl who is trying to understand if she's safe or not. Not a controlling woman whom you often call me. That's why when you call me demanding or pushy, I'm like, I hate this when you call me like this, because inside of me it's a little girl who is scanning the space to understand if it's safe. And you can see that my trauma is super big and painful. You can see how I talk even about it very passionately. So this is like a touchy subject. You have your touchy subject, and where we clash, explosion happens. And it's super complicated to stay wise. And this is your thing, this is my thing. We are learning this, of course.
We are learning to see those moments. No, what I'm learning is how important is my reaction when I hurt you. The first reaction.
Yeah.
No? I'm learning this, no? Because this first reaction, when I say something, I do something, and you react emotionally, it quite often triggers in me my things, but I'm learning how to breathe.
And to let me be emotional.
And to let you be emotional, not to feel responsible for your emotion, but not to avoid
your part.
Accountability, what I have done. No?
Yes.
And try to understand this and try to just say I'm sorry from the heart, no?
Yes.
Because my intention is not to hurt you.
Same for me. I also don't have any intention to hurt you.
Sometimes we want to kill each other.
Baby.
We should not tell this in the video?
No, I mean, you interrupt me in the way, in the important moment where I wanted to say something important.
I'm sorry.
Yes. But it's what I wanted to add here. I think many women also agree with me, because it's super irritating when men call women over emotional. When you do like this with your eyes and like, again, you're so sensitive, or it sounds a little manipulative, you know, and a little even judging, you know, you're so sensitive. What's wrong to be with being sensitive, you know? What's wrong with being emotional? It's okay.
Because this sensation of being this little boy again, with this big mother, with her big emotions, unable to handle. This creates this, You are too emotional.
Because, again, we're coming back, because your mom probably didn't take enough care to distinguish between what's her responsibility, what's your responsibility. It's very important when a grown-up person takes this responsibility for being more aware, more protective, more caring, but less selfish and egoistic in this situation. Because moms can be emotional and stuff, but kids are not the ones who need to handle this. I don't know, this scope of emotions.
We talk about it because we see it as a key dynamic in our relation, and it influences everything. Sexual energy, how we feel the whole day. No? Those small things, they can trigger fight for hours, and then we fight for hours.
Yes.
So this capability to stop and to breathe and to try to respond not from trauma. This is what we both train to do.
Yeah.
We practice this. We learned this also on a couple therapy, and for me it was like really very important step. Because very often couples, when they are alone, they cannot see this dynamic. It's too difficult, no? So then in the couple therapy, this third person can help to see this. Like for me, for now, the advantage of this therapeutic is who can see this dynamic and explain it to us, and then I'm like, oof. No?
It helps. It really helps when there is a third person, which
Safe
is
person, no?
Safe person
Safe
for
person.
both of us. Because when we are trying to
when
get out of a conflict, just two of us, it takes hours, because each of us in our own trauma, and it's hard to stop fast. We like really go to the core of our trauma, and only there, when I see you're a little hurt boy, I'm a little hurt boy, when we're there, when we're little kids,
we can try to repair,
yes.
No? But a lot of damage already happened.
Yes.
No? And she brings this safeness, so we can react differently. No? So now we are how we can create this safeness. No? In this how I can create this safeness. No? I feel attacked. I feel responsible because I did a joke, and I feel, I'm again this bad partner, and I can like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay that it happened. I don't need to be perfect, no? And I just can say, I'm sorry, I didn't want to hurt you, no?
Yeah. And me, when you, again, coming back to this example, when you joked in that way, passive-aggressive way, for me, it's important anyway to be loyal to my feelings, no, not to kind of minimize the effect of the words what you said, because they're super important. If I ignore what I feel, then it will just lead to a bigger fight and to a bigger misunderstanding.
Yourself,
yeah,
no?
Because it's very important for me to be seen and understood, you know. And if you don't have understanding of what I am, what I'm doing, what is important for me, then what we're doing together, you know, like.
But I would say that the reason of my stupid joke is a little bit related to the further reaction, no? Because the real why I made this joke, because I wanted to spend more time together, and I saw you working the whole day, and I was angry about it, no? Or feel hurt, felt less important, maybe had a fear that, oh, I'm not important so much, no? So it would be good to speak from this
Exactly.
from this hurt part.
And to say what, for example?
And to
what could you say instead of this stupid joke?
That I would like to spend more time together, and I miss you, and I feel unsecure if I'm still important to you, no? Because deeply inside, it triggers this insecurity. Oh, I'm not attractive enough, so your work is so more important than me, no? And all those things, no?
You know, like at our last couple therapy session, I said one phrase and then I started to explain myself a lot. I said, come back to me. And then I started to talking a lot, explaining a lot. This too much of a conversation also kills the energy. But when you just say, instead of addicted to phone, baby, come back to me. I miss you. I would love to spend time with you. That would be a message to me. There I would feel love and care and that you really miss me. I wouldn't feel judged or attacked, but I would see your real need, and I would feel that I am needed and I am wanted and I am appreciated, So it creates totally different dynamic. But it's super hard to see this like raw motivation, what is underneath,
Because it's hidden,
we hide,
with the masks.
Yes,
we hide it with the mask. Because underneath, I have this fear of this emotional dependence. Maybe this is also a good subject for another podcast. About
for sure.
Emotional dependence, healthy emotional dependence in the couple. No?
Healthy attachment.
Healthy attachment, because I feel I don't have any experience with this. No? Good experience. Good experience in sense of, I can refer to this experience. I know what is this healthy, secure attachment to another person.
Well, we can try to develop this subject next time. Yes.
Next time.
I think it's enough for today.
It's enough for today. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the wave will be coming.
Yeah.
Or maybe
we'll
not.
go surfing. He will go surfing. I will be in a supportive group.
If there will be waves.
Okay.
Thank you, baby.
Thank
was
you.
very emotional today.
Yeah. But,
somehow I feel very emotional right
me
now.
Me too. Please give
Let
us your
know
feedback.
what
Yes.
you think and go for a therapy. She's very good therapist, by the way. So she's good in couple therapy, individual therapy.
Okay,
But
thank
also I think about starting to coach the men. So search for help.
Good job.
Good
I'm
job.
proud of you.
Thank you.
And of myself too. Okay.
Ciao, ciao.
I thought. Ciao, ciao.
Oh.